What's going on, Popper Squad? Fatal Steven here, and Extreme Rules just passed, and with that comes an attire pack for Wwe 2K22. So let's check out these amazing attires.
That's fatal.
Now I'm gonna go in order of matches. So number one, we have Sheamus by Squared Worshipper brand. Now Sheamus's Extreme Rules attire hasn't actually been made, but the same attire he wore at Extreme Rules was an attire that he's worn before. So if you just download this attire by Squared Worshipper brand, as always, all hashtags are on the right side of the screen, all details on the right side of the screen. You pretty much will have the same attire that Sheamus wore during Extreme Rules 2022. Next up, we got a Ridge Holland Creator Wrestler, because obviously there is no Ridge Holland in game when it comes to an actual model. So we have this Ridge Holland Creator Wrestler by Hacksaw House TLC. Now you don't have to keep the Creator Wrestler, we're mainly here for the attire. If you like the complete Creator Wrestler with the attire, then just download this as is. But if you don't like the way the Creator Wrestler looks, then just download it and then apply the attire to your preferred Ridge Holland. And you know that works regardless, because the main thing we're showing here is the attire. And finally, for Butch, we have one by Ashton Harper. Thankfully, Butch now has his hair long, like, you know, how Pete Dunne looks. You know, he has his Pete Dunne look. Still waiting for that name change. Hopefully soon he'll be Pete Dunne. But luckily he doesn't have his hair up in a bun anymore. So you can just apply this attire to Pete Dunne in game, and it will look like how Butch looked like during Extreme Rules, which is great. So yeah, Butch's attire by Ashton Harper. Go ahead and download it yourself. Moving on, we have Gunther's attire by Jeremy Taylor. Actually, all three of these attires are by Jeremy Taylor, so that works out. Once you find Gunther, just click on Content by the Creator, and you can find the other ones. So we have Gunther by Jeremy Taylor. Next up, we have Ludwig Kaiser, again by Jeremy Taylor. So once you download these attires, just make them alts, and then they will be alt attires to the in-game model. So we have Ludwig Kaiser here. And finally, we have Giovanni, also known as Fabian in-game. But we have Giovanni's attire. All three of the Imperium's attires were really easy to find, and they're actually very simple. They're just all red with some black, I think, on it. But yeah, we have the Imperium's attires by Jeremy Taylor. So go ahead and pick which one you want and download. Moving on to match number 3, and that was Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan. We have Ronda Rousey's attire right here. She came out in like kung fu outfit, like karate master robe. So that was cool, and her attire said like submit on it and all that stuff, because you know she does use that armbar. You can't see her attire underneath the robe, but I promise you it is accurate to Extreme Rules 2022. And I'll show you a glimpse of it on the screen, as you can see. So once she's done her entrance, the robe comes off obviously, and then she has her accurate attire that she wore in the ring. Moving on, we got Liv Morgan by Azrael. Liv Morgan's attire is always good. She always goes flashy. She always matches the vibe of the pay-per-view, and Liv Morgan's attires don't really miss. So you can download Liv Morgan's Extreme Rules attire by Azrael. On to the next match, we have Karrion versus Drew McIntyre, with Scarlett obviously coming out during Karrion's entrance. So first up, we got Karrion Kross made by Ace, and this Karrion Kross looks really good. Karrion's attire was actually one of my favorite ones out of the whole pay-per-view. I just love the way the black and gold looks. Black and gold is always a sweet spot when it comes to attires, and Karrion Kross's attire really nailed it. So we have Karrion Kross by Ace. Go ahead and download it and apply it to your Karrion, or just download it and make it an alt. I can't tell if it's a Creator Wrestler or not because it looks really good, but I'm assuming it's the Karrion model, so just make it an alt attire. And of course, Karrion also came out with Scarlett. So we have a Scarlett Creator Wrestler by Ace, so it's by the same person who made Karrion. You can just download this Scarlett Creator Wrestler and either keep it, or do what I did and just download the Creator Wrestler and then import the attire onto your Scarlett in-game model, so that Scarlett now has that attire, and then just delete the Creator Wrestler when you're done. The only downside is Scarlett came out with her hair in a ponytail, hence why the Creator Wrestler tries to match that. But Scarlett in game does not have her hair in a ponytail. But honestly, I can look past that. So if you want to update your Scarlett, download the Creator Wrestler, import the attire on in-game Scarlett. And finally, we have Drew McIntyre by Squared Phenom DE. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a perfect attire that Drew McIntyre wore during Extreme Rules. Unfortunately, no one has made that attire yet. But this attire is literally perfect besides the knee pads. So everything on this attire matches except the knee pads. But honestly, it's not that hard to just make the knee pads yourself. But besides that, the attire is accurate to what he wore during Extreme Rules. So Drew McIntyre by Squared Phenom DE. On to the next match, we got Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Now, unfortunately, Bianca is the only one on this whole list that does not have an attire yet, which sucks. If she does get an attire, I will update it in the pinned comment down below. Kind of unfortunate because Bianca's attire really popped out for me, and I actually tweeted about it, how much I loved it. I love the blue on it, it matched the lipstick, it popped. Blue's my favorite color, so it really looked good, and I was very surprised to see that it was not made. Next up, we got Bayley by Sapita Life. Bayley's attire is also one that I tweeted out about. I love the red and black color scheme. Again, red and black is a mwah when it comes to attires. So we got Bayley's red and black attire. Unfortunately, she did not win the ladder match. I was hoping she would win. This way, like, Damage Control would sort of control the titles like a Bloodline does, but like the female version. But unfortunately, she lost. Maybe during a rematch, she might get the win. But yeah, I was really rooting for her. So Bayley's attire by Sapita Life. The next match is Edge versus Finn Balor. So I have two Finn Balors to show you today. The first one is with the mask, made by Game Vault Alt. Now the reason why I have two versions is because maybe you guys don't want the mask, right? I personally love the mask version. This is kind of an odd attire for Finn Balor to come out to. I love his black and purple, you know, Judgment Day attire, but the mask kind of looked like Kanye West when he came out, right? It's caught me off guard, but we have Finn Balor with the mask by Game Vault Alt. And then we also have Finn Balor without the mask by Zay MMG. So really pick your poison, which one you want. You want to keep the mask on during the entrance, or you don't want the mask on the entrance. So pick which one you want and then make it an alt to Finn Balor. So we have two Finn Balors. We also have two Edges. The first one is by iWorld's Finest. This Edge here is a creator wrestler. It matches his current look with the short hair. The attire is his Extreme Rules attire. And this Edge creator wrestler can be used solo. It comes with this call name and commentary. So you can just keep this Edge solo and it will be called Edge. The commentators will call him Edge and talk about Edge, so you can just keep this one solo. But if you want just the attire, you can also download regular Edge with the Extreme Rules attire by Zay MMG, and then just make it an alt to in-game Edge, and there you go, same thing. You'll have a regular Edge with his updated attire, or you can have current Edge with his current look as a creator wrestler that you can also use solo. And the last match we have is Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a fight pit match. Now surprisingly, this is my first time seeing a fight pit match. I've heard about it at NXT, but I'm not an avid NXT watcher, so this is my first time actually experiencing a fight pit match, and I must say I love it. Put it in 2K23. So we have Matt Riddle by Game Vault Alt, so just download this attire and then make it an alt to Matt Riddle. And my favorite attire of the night comes from Zay MMG, and that is obviously Seth Rollins' attire. Now, fun fact about this Seth Rollins attire: Extreme Rules took place in Philadelphia, which is the home of ECW, and this attire was an homage to Rob Van Dam, or RVD, hence why when Seth came out he did the whole RVD motion. And also another reason why Seth's attire are always playing mind games with their opponent, which I love that he does this. Obviously Matt Riddle is a stoner character, and Seth Rollins is paying homage to RVD, who's the OG stoner, and it's just pretty much playing mind games with Matt Riddle. That Seth is respecting and paying homage to another stoner, and he does not respect Matt Riddle. So I love what Seth has been doing with his attires during pay-per-views. Whenever Seth has a match on a pay-per-view, I'm always looking forward to how his attire is looking. Is that just me? Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys also look forward to what is Seth going to wear during the pay-per-view. And finally, obviously, the huge surprise, we finally figured out who the White Rabbit was. It was Bray Wyatt. I remember when I talked about it in my commentary that Bray Wyatt / The Fiend was going to arrive at Extreme Rules. Some of the comments were like, it's not going to be him. It's not going to be him. And I've seen a lot of people say it was going to be Joe Gacy, which made me laugh, but whatever. But regardless, Bray Wyatt returned, which was huge. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a Bray Wyatt creator wrestler because, well, frankly, we don't know what he looks like yet. We don't know his attire. We kind of see his updated look with his face, but we don't know his attire yet. Fortunately, Azorthius Cause has been working on an amazing updated Bray Wyatt. I'll show you some screenshots right now. He has an amazing updated Bray Wyatt in the works. He's just waiting for Bray Wyatt to debut his attire, which most likely will happen tonight on Raw, fingers crossed. And for you PC players out there, if you're waiting for a Bray Wyatt mod, well, Joe Mashups has you covered as well. Joe Mashups is working on a really, really good looking Bray Wyatt mod, like spot on perfect Bray Wyatt mod right here. And again, Joe Mashup is also waiting for Bray Wyatt to debut his attire so that they can get to work and create the attire and then upload these creations. So Azorthius Cause Bray Wyatt will go on CC. Look out for that. I'll make a video on it. And Joe Mashup's Bray Wyatt is a mod for PC, so look out for that one too if you're on PC. But besides the update on Bray Wyatt, I also have some silly characters for you guys. We have Husky the Pig over here because it was one of the puppets that they were showing in human form in the audience. So if you want Husky the Pig as a puppet you can mess around with, maybe add it in a storyline with Bray Wyatt, go ahead, download Husky the Pig. And the other puppet I found was the Fiend puppet. You know how they show the Fiend in the audience real quick and it was just someone like in a Fiend costume with the hood on? Yeah, someone made that as well. So if you want to download the Fiend puppet or the fake Fiend and then add that in a storyline with the universe or something, go ahead and download the Fiend. I tried finding a Sister Abigail, the rabbit, and that like weird like raptor looking thing, but the creator wrestlers of those versions just looked really bad, so I didn't bother adding them in. But there are some of the community creations if you want to download them. I just didn't want to show them in the video because they weren't really the best looking, you know. And that right there is everything that happened in Extreme Rules, all the attires from Extreme Rules 2022. Go ahead and download the ones you enjoyed the most, and if you made a Bianca Belair Extreme Rules attire, please let me know the hashtags in the comment section down below, or if you found one, so I can update the pinned comment. Thanks for watching, guys. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Fiddle Steven out, and remember, stay proper. Peace.